What's going on, party people? It is your boy Coop here, and today we're looking at Bungie. Once again, Bungie and Activision, I guess to be more specific. So this Warmind DLC is dropping on May the 8th, and a lot of hype suddenly out there in the community about this. It's almost like when Curse of Osiris was going to be released, there was this YouTube summit. Let's just call it what it is. It wasn't a player summit because they didn't invite a bunch of players. They invited a bunch of YouTubers because they wanted them to advertise for them for free, right? I mean, let's be honest about what this is. Bungie needs these YouTubers to hype this up for them. Now the question is, are these YouTubers selling out? And the first time around, I had a lot of leniency with these YouTubers, you know, like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because I hadn't played the DLC yet, but Curse of Osiris dropped, and it was the worst DLC of all time. Now, a lot of YouTubers have been very critical of Bungie, and really that's simply because their viewers started falling off, so they really didn't have a choice except for to say, Bungie, you gotta pull your remove head from butt, and let's move forward together. So it's kind of been a positive thing in that regard, just because it's kind of forced these guys to actually address the problems. And a lot of these YouTubers helped create these problems by simply ignoring them, because while their viewer count was still good, because the players, you know, they weren't quite salty enough, you know? Like, you need to get to that point of salt where it's just too salty and you don't want anything, you just won't eat it anymore, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and pull up this article right here by Variety. Alright, so Bungie hosting Destiny 2's Community Summit to discuss the game's future. So these players beforehand, I mean these YouTubers, they're saying, oh, the game sucks here, it sucks here, Crucible, Time to Kill, you know, PvE, they stripped out everything from the game, there's no more random rolls, everything, all the problems wrong with the game, right? Now, pretty much none of these are being fixed in Warmind. Yet, once they leave the summit, they're all like, wow, I really feel good about this, I feel like it's all going really well, you know, suddenly they don't have any problems with the game, which is really weird. It's kind of like the same thing that happened last time. It's kind of like these YouTubers, you know, came out after Curse of Osiris. They got to go down there and play that one first, right? They basically went down there and they said, wow, this game is full of triangles. There's so many triangles. In D1 we only had circles, like the Traveler, but this one got these pyramidal shapes. Just triangles everywhere. It's so amazing. And I hear one day, Bungie may even give us diamonds like in Warmind, and later on squares. We'll have a full kindergarten assortment of shapes. Let's get super hyped over absolutely nothing. The question really that we should be asking, are these YouTubers, have they sold out? And I'm going to present some evidence here today, and you can make that determination for yourself. A lot of them, before going to this summit, had a lot of critical views on the game and the direction it was heading, because it was not going good. And Bungie keeps saying, we're listening, guys, we're listening. That's great. Everyone with ears can listen. Action speaks louder than ears, than sound waves, than hearing. Action speaks louder than hearing. Okay. We're just making up our own Bungie sayings now. Anyways, here's the issue I have. How are you going to be so critical, and basically all the things we're critical about are not getting fixed? There are no more. They're not putting random rolls in the game. They're not reducing time to kill in the Crucible. There's still like a drought of content. I guess there will be a little bit of new content here. But a lot of the core things in the game are not getting fixed. That won't be till September. But I guess that's just fine for these YouTubers, because suddenly they're getting a lot of videos out because they got behind the scenes access into a DLC. So could you consider that payment? The studio brings them down and says, listen, we're going to give you a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that no one else will have, so you will get a lot of views on your videos, which makes you money, and in turn that'll get the people hyped, which makes us money. It's a win-win, you know, a little schmoozy, if you know what I'm saying. But you notice some of the people, it's funny because Bungie would have to mess this up too, because some of the people they invited included PvE, PvP folks, and supposedly lore, but Bungie just so happened to forget to invite any of the lore guys. And let me go and tell you, greetings Guardians, my name is Byfair. That guy was not happy about the lying. He was not happy at all, and for those of you who do not know, Byf is the biggest Destiny lore guy around. So he kind of called them out, and they ended up inviting Mylan Games to fill in that spot for the lore community. But my God, Bungie, seriously. I think it's because Bungie has just kind of gotten away from the lore period. They're just like, you know what, we'll just make up crap as we go. We'll just change the whole thing. They even went so far as sending out a tweet saying that maybe the lore is just folklore. This is redonkulous. Alright, so pulling up right here, this article is, super old. This came out in 2012 and it was actually leaked because, well, not leaked, it came out because of a lawsuit. But right here, Destiny will consist of a series of 4 MMO-style sci-fi fantasy shooter titles released every other year, beginning in the fall of 2013. So what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means when Bungie said, "Hey guys, we're going to release one game, and we're going to wait. This game's going to last you 10 years. You're going to be playing this game for 10 years, and we'll just keep adding content to it." They kind of meant that. That means they're not going to rebuild the engine. We're going to have the same, graphics from the very first one, but all they'll do is take away all the original content and give you like a tiny little bit of the second content, right? That's kind of what Destiny 2 is starting to feel like. I mean, at least to me, and really everybody else. But another big one, Bungie is eligible for a number of performance and sales-based bonuses depending on Destiny meeting certain developmental milestones and sales goals. So basically, Bungie needs to sell you a big bag of dump. If they have a big bag of dump, they know you're hungry. So they're going to say, "Hey, listen guys, there's some fried chicken in here. Would you like some?" And they need a YouTuber to sell you that fried chicken, which is really a bag of shit. Let's be honest. Osiris was a bag of shit, and we bought it. We got a couple bites in our mouth. Some people were like, "Wow." It's the YouTubers who are eating the bag of shit and simultaneously being like, "Wow, this is so delicious." These are the guys that I have a problem with. Like, at least be honest about the state of the game. The game is faulting. I have no problem. Don't get me wrong. There's some very toxic people out there who are in the forums and everything else talking about how, Bungie's the Illuminati and they're trying to come steal their babies from their house and, blood sacrifice. Dude, okay, that's crazy town. All I'm saying is Bungie needs to make money and they need to sell by any means necessary. So if they gotta pretend and say things like, "We're listening, guys, we're listening." You know what? Action speaks louder than ears, as I said previously. So, moving on to Forbes. After Destiny 2's Go Fast Outbid, community salt still reigns supreme, and yes it does. Look at this guy's face. That's like every Destiny player. Anyways, he goes through a lot of the talking points, but basically the end of it is it's going to take him a full year just to get back to Destiny 1. Like all the changes that everyone's like, "Wow, these are going to be amazing changes." We already had that a year ago. What really happened is we're just releasing a reskinned, dumbed down version of the game. So for people to be angry, to people to be a little apprehensive of this next DLC coming out, that is natural, and I feel like they should be a little apprehensive, because I will not be so trusting as to what the people on YouTube are telling me anymore after we got that load of garbage from the Ghost of Osiris. So let's move on to the most infamous cases of exactly why we know this relationship with Activision has been just tainted from the get-go. How Halo and Destiny's composer got fired from Bungie. So this is from Kotaku, and this composer, come on, everyone loves the Destiny music. Okay, whatever. I cannot do that anymore. That was like, I had to spread my nostrils so wide just to make that sound. Anyways, in April of 2014, Martin, aka the Marty O'Donnell, then Bungie's audio director, was fired from the company without cause. So says a court ruling. Basically, Bungie fired this guy, and the reason they fired him was this. O'Donnell believed that the Bungie spirit was being compromised by the Activision agreement, and perhaps they were, but management saw his actions as disruptive and harmful. O'Donnell was given a poor employee review in the fall of 2013, and in lieu of his next review in February 2014, Bungie drafted a termination agreement. So basically what happened was, he writes all this music, and we're talking about some epic music. This is the guy who wrote the music for Halo, and it was supposed to be for all of the games, all the content that was going to be released over 10 years. Now what happened was, whenever the trailer for the very first Destiny game was about to be released, Activision took his music out of the trailer and put some, dorky emo stuff like, "Hey, Dad, look at me now. I got a new TV." Something real stupid. Basically, he didn't want anyone thinking he wrote that crap, so he said, "Bungie is not attached to this trailer. We did not make this trailer," so on and so forth. And I can see why he would do that, because Bungie was a company that was known as pouring their heart and soul into things they did. Like, think about the cool-ass game modes that were in Halo, You're shooting rockets. Like, everybody has rockets. That's just a cool game mode right on the back of these, like, warthogs. What can you do now? Now you can get a ship that you can look at and a loading screen. Whose idea was that? Because the original idea for ships in Destiny were that you could customize them. People could come visit your ship inside of it. You could add decorations, and there's something a little bit more like Warframe. But Warframe isn't owned by is what's starting to seem like the destroyer of gaming companies. They just want to squeeze out money. They don't care about what your product is, so long as people will buy it. Passion, heart, other things don't seem to really matter to Activision. So this is the greatest example, period, of how Destiny lost like a piece of what made Bungie great. The music for Halo was the most recognizable music in video game history, aside from maybe Mario Brothers when you go to fight King Koopa. That's when the dragon breathes that little fire thing. I don't know if y'all remember that, but I totally do. Anyways, guys, so back to the original question that started this entire video to begin with. Have these YouTubers sold out to Activision? Well, Activision did say that they had basically wanted to get these YouTubers community on board because they understand that game sales cannot be generated in a social media age without hype from the community. So these YouTubers, coming out there getting all woozed by Bungie, it's going to be really hard for them to come back right after this summit and be like, "Yeah, Bungie's doing a really terrible job and you guys shouldn't get this DLC." I mean, it's pretty obvious why they wouldn't do that. They just got flown out to Vegas. They partied with them. They took them all to a ladyboy strip club. Everyone got pictures taken. They're using it against them to bribe them. I mean, that's obvious. I'm obviously just kidding there, guys, but what I am saying is it is really hard to go say something about someone who you've been hanging out with. Hang out with them for the weekend and then go talk trash about them the next day seems bad, especially when they're like, "Dude, we're giving you inside access, you understand, you're one of the team, you're part of the team." And it just seems like some of these guys just bought that hook, line, and sinker. Now, they may be right. This could be a great DLC. And maybe it is going to take it. I mean, we need some leaps in the right direction. We don't need any more of this tiptoeing around. Like the Goes Fast update, that was the most misleading update in the world, because guess what? You can't go faster. You jump faster. It should have been the Jump Faster update so people knew how underwhelming that was going to be. Anyways, guys, I am hopeful for Destiny. Wow, I can't speak. I am hopeful for Destiny. I do hope it works out. I am not one of these people who's celebrating, hoping it fails. I mean, I think the people at Bungie are just regular people, and they kind of made a deal with the devil, essentially. And, he's going to hold him to that contract, at least for the next 10 years. So, in the end, I think after the summit, this time, after this DLC comes out, if this is not a proper DLC, I think every one of these YouTubers who went to this summit twice now and have sold us a big steaming pile of poo. If I stick another bite of poop in my mouth, I swear to God, it's going to be over. Anyways, guys, I will catch you all later, and I'll keep you updated on this subject. We'll do we will do a full review of this whenever it actually drops, so May 8th. Be looking for that. Anyways, guys, take care now, and bye-bye then.